Get ready for explosive drama on Isita, the enemy, this April 2025. From shocking betrayals to deadly secrets, the Sokulu family faces heartbreak, revenge, and impossible choices. Stay tuned, hit that like button, join the channel membership, and let those ads play to keep the stories coming. On the evening of Tuesday, 1st April 2025, episode 242, Nolita's world crumbles as she stumbles upon the chilling truth about Chuma, the man she thought she knew. The weight of suspicion had been pressing on her chest for weeks, the unease growing every time she caught him whispering into his phone or slipping out at odd hours. But nothing could have prepared her for what she discovered tonight. Meanwhile, Madlamini delves deeper into the shadows of witchcraft, cloaking her actions in the name of faith, using her influence to manipulate her congregation. As her hold tightens and Nolita's reality unravels, the air in Eslaleni thickens with secrets, deception, and the ominous promise of inevitable confrontation. By the morning of Wednesday, 2nd April 2025, episode 243, the weight of Chuma's lies hangs heavy, and Nolita is left grappling with the magnitude of his betrayal. Every whispered promise and stolen glance now feels tainted, as the facade of their perfect marriage shatters. While she fights to compose herself, Chuma remains oblivious to her discovery, believing his secrets are still well guarded. Elsewhere, Madlamini's pursuit of power grows more dangerous as she manipulates her congregation with twisted sermons, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction at their unwavering loyalty. But within the community, whispers of doubt begin to stir, and the line between faith and fear blurs as her dark influence spreads. Thursday, 3rd April 2025, episode 244. Chuma's nerves are frayed when he senses the walls closing in. He is no longer just a man with a secret, he is a marked man. Rebs' trusted enforcer watches his every move, the weight of suspicion growing. The carefully woven lies that once shielded Chuma now threaten to ensnare him, and as the realization dawns, fear grips him. Meanwhile, Solomzi's desperation intensifies as the search for Rebs yields nothing but dead ends. His resolve wavers, knowing that every passing day tips the scale further from salvation and closer to vengeance. For Nolita, the question is no longer about confronting Chuma, it's about surviving the storm that his betrayal has unleashed. Friday, 4th April 2025, episode 245. Solomzi's hopes are all but crushed, yet the thought of Rebs in the hands of her enemies ignites a final surge of determination. Each lead takes him further into the shadows, his desperation growing with every unanswered call. At the same time, Chuma's paranoia consumes him, the fear of retaliation from Rebs' loyalists growing unbearable. While he prepares for the inevitable fallout, Madlamini's poisonous whispers lead to a devastating blow as she orchestrates Nomsa's downfall. Stripped of her place within the church and betrayed by those she trusted, Nomsa is left standing in the wreckage of her shattered faith. The battle lines are drawn, and in a world where betrayal runs deep, survival comes at a ruthless cost. By the time Monday, 7th April 2025, episode 246 arrives, Solomzi is no longer the man who once held on to hope. Fueled by vengeance, he vows to end Chuma's reign of terror. Every memory of Rebs fuels his rage, driving him to the point of no return. Meanwhile, Budalani finds himself torn as Madlamini claims divine guidance, convincing him that his destiny lies in leading the church. Her manipulations leave him conflicted, but the unwavering belief in his faith blinds him to her sinister motives. At the same time, Denjiwe's composure falters as Nelly and Banze flaunt their rekindled romance, the sting of heartbreak and jealousy consuming her. As emotions spiral and old wounds resurface, the explosive tension threatens to consume everyone in its path. Tuesday, 8th April 2025, episode 247. Nandi's satisfaction grows as she watches Rebs suffer the consequences of her downfall. For too long, Rebs held the power, but now her once formidable presence is reduced to whispers of shame and disgrace. While Nandi relishes the moment, Valapi is forced to confront the drastic changes within his home, struggling to find his place in the chaos. Nolita, still reeling from the truth about Chuma, summons the courage to confront him. But Chuma, the master manipulator, senses her resolve and skillfully deflects her accusations, twisting her doubt into confusion. As the walls close in, his desperation grows, but the facade remains intact. For now. By Wednesday, 9th April 2025, episode 248, Zandali's mask of affection slips as she reveals her true motive. Her presence within the Ingwenya compound was never about loyalty or devotion. It was a carefully orchestrated plan, a mission to dismantle from within. With each calculated move, she inches closer to her goal, and as Bulelani's suspicions grow, she knows her time is running out. Meanwhile, the fractures within the Sokulu family widen as Bulelani makes the devastating decision to cast out another family member. The weight of his choices looms heavy, but in the pursuit of power, remorse is a luxury he cannot afford. Thursday, 10th April 2025, episode 249. Mbuso's every move is haunted by the unsettling realization that his life is in danger. Whispers of betrayal echo through the compound, the chilling knowledge that someone wants him dead growing with each passing day. But as he searches for answers, the identity of his enemy remains concealed in the shadows. Paranoia drives him to the brink, and in a desperate act, he seals the fate of his own uncle. In the absence of certainty, fear becomes his greatest adversary. Friday, 11th April 2025, episode 250. Chuma's triumph is undeniable as he relishes in the humiliation of Rebs. The newspaper's image of her downfall is a trophy, a reminder of the power he now wields. But as he gloats, Mbuso's laughter rings hollow, his amusement masking the storm that brews within. The sight of Rebs in ruin fuels his own hunger for dominance, igniting a dangerous rivalry. Zandali watches, seething as the man she once aligned with celebrates her mentor's disgrace. In this twisted game of vengeance and pride, loyalty is a fleeting illusion. The only certainty is that the cost of victory will be devastating. Monday, 14th April 2025, episode 251. Mbuso is consumed by guilt when a visit from the seer forces him to confront the weight of his actions. Each word from the mystical figure echoes in his mind, stirring regret that he can no longer suppress. But even as he questions his choices, the true danger remains unseen, with his actual enemy waiting to strike. Meanwhile, Valapi's downward spiral leads him into the arms of an unexpected confidant. Battling addiction and desperately seeking relief, he clings to the fleeting comfort found in dangerous places. The Sokulu family is unaware of the storm that brews within their walls, and as Mbuso searches for redemption, the real threat looms closer. Tuesday, 15th April 2025, episode 252. Zandali's carefully guarded world is turned upside down when a truth she never anticipated comes to light. The revelation cuts deeper than any betrayal she has ever endured, forcing her to reevaluate every alliance she thought was unbreakable. For a moment, the facade of control slips, exposing the vulnerable woman beneath. But vulnerability is a luxury she cannot afford. As she grapples with this new reality, the question remains whether she will crumble under the weight of the truth or rise with renewed determination. In the Sokulu household, Valapi and Minenkli's complicated relationship takes a surprising turn, with sparks of passion reigniting what was thought to be extinguished. Despite their agreement to move on, desire refuses to be silenced. Wednesday, 16th April 2025, episode 253. Mbuso and Zandali's worlds collide in an explosive confrontation as the truth about their bloodline is revealed. The discovery shakes them both to the core, forcing them to question their very identities. Mbuso's rage boils over, while Zandali's carefully constructed mask of composure begins to crack. In the shadows of this devastating revelation, Velapi and Menenkli's attraction intensifies, threatening to undo the fragile peace they had tried to maintain. But passion often comes at a cost, and their reckless reunion sets off a chain of events neither is prepared for. Thursday, 17th April 2025, episode 254. Nomsa's unwavering determination forces Chuma's hand when she demands he take responsibility and find Nandi. Her voice is resolute, unwilling to let the injustices of the past remain buried. Meanwhile, Madlamini makes a grand gesture that leaves Bulelani torn. Arriving with bags of groceries, she paints herself as a savior, though her motives are anything but pure. While Bulelani is momentarily swayed, Machadiso's suspicions grow. She knows Madlamini's kindness is a mask, concealing the sinister ambitions that lie beneath. Friday, 18th April 2025, episode 255. The palace is in turmoil as panic erupts over the royal heir's disappearance. Determined to protect the future of the kingdom, the royal family spares no effort in securing the young prince's safety. But Zandali, ever the master manipulator, uses the chaos to her advantage. Her schemes escalate, casting shadows of doubt and fear throughout the palace walls. Every whispered rumor and frantic accusation fuels the mounting hysteria. While the family fights to preserve their legacy, Zandali's deceit threatens to shatter everything they hold dear. Monday, 1st April 2025, episode 256. Nomsa confronts Chuma with undeniable proof of his betrayal, refusing to be silenced any longer. Every lie he told, every manipulation he spun, unravels before him. But Chuma, driven by desperation, clings to his crumbling power. Meanwhile, Menenkli battles the sting of jealousy as Velapi openly flaunts his blossoming relationship with Nelly. The pain of watching him move on leaves her wounded, but pride keeps her from revealing her heartbreak. In a world where secrets and schemes reign supreme, both Nomsa and Menenkli are left with impossible choices. Tuesday, 2nd April 2025, episode 257. Nomsa's investigation into Madlamini's church reveals dark secrets that shake her to the core. What was once a house of worship is now exposed as a hub of deceit and manipulation. Furious and determined to expose the truth, Nomsa risks everything to stand against the powerful matriarch. Meanwhile, Banzai and Ses Sonto face the consequences of a fraudulent scheme when they realize they've been duped into purchasing counterfeit shoes. The bitter sting of betrayal leaves them humiliated, but the pursuit of justice ignites a fire within them. Wednesday, 23rd April 2025, episode 258. Chuma and Mbuso call a fragile truce, setting aside their differences for a moment of reconciliation. Though years of resentment cannot be erased, the urgency of their circumstances forces them to unite. Velapi and Menenkli make their relationship official, but their happiness is met with disapproval from their family. The judgmental glares and whispered comments fail to shake their resolve, but the pressure mounts. As they fight for their right to be together, the Sokulus remain bitterly divided. Thursday, 24th April 2025, episode 259. The dark past comes knocking as Reb stands before a deadly gift, one that tempts her with promises of vengeance. The weight of her failures and losses cloud her judgment, but Martha's voice of reason lingers in her mind. Will she give in to the temptation of revenge, or will she finally seek redemption? Meanwhile, Mbuso is thrown into turmoil as he suffers a devastating blow that leaves him blinded. The world he once commanded now fades into darkness, and the pressure to uncover Zandali's whereabouts weighs heavier than ever. As fear grips him, the question of whether he will ever see again looms in the shadows. Friday, 25th April 2025, episode 260. The Sokolu household is shattered as two babies are born, one alive and thriving, the other cold and lifeless. The cruel twist of fate sends shockwaves through the family, leaving them grasping for answers. a newly christened grandmother, faces an impossible choice as the burden of preserving her family's legacy falls upon her shoulders. The weight of grief mingles with the hunger for control, and in the wake of tragedy, a decision is made that will alter the course of their lives forever. That's a wrap on today's spoilers for Isita, the Enemy. The drama is about to hit new heights, and you don't want to miss a single moment. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop. Join the membership and let the ads play. Your support keeps the drama rolling. Catch you in the next video.